Akinozu's latest move has set the internet on fire. Is the love story everyone admired reaching a breaking point, or did a simple scheduling clash get blown into a full-blown scandal? Welcome to Secrets Behind the Stars. Before we dive in, make sure you subscribe and stay with us, because what we're about to unpack has had fans, friends, and the press talking for days. Did Akın truly skip Ebru Şahin's birthday? Was it a choice, a consequence, or a misunderstanding? Let's pull back the curtain and walk through everything that happened, step by step, the way it unfolded inside their world and across our feeds. It began innocently enough, with party videos from Ebru's closest circle. You know the ones: music turned up, laughter cutting through the noise, someone catching the perfect angle as the candlelight hits her smile. Friends were there, colleagues were there, the decor was elegant without trying too hard, and the cake stood on a pedestal like a soft declaration that she deserved to be celebrated. But one absence became the headline: where was Akın? As more clips rolled in, that question grew louder. The comments section flooded with guesses and judgment. Some defended him immediately. He's working, they said, he's ambitious, this is what success costs sometimes. Others were not so gentle. How can you not show up for your partner's big night? And yet, amid the noise, the two people at the center of it all remained quiet. Neither Akın nor Ebru said a word, and that silence was like oxygen to the wildfire. To understand what really set the stage, you have to rewind to the day before the celebration. Akın was stepping into one of the busiest stretches of his year. He was the face of a high-profile international campaign while final talks for a new screen project were unfolding behind closed doors. The brand had organized an exclusive dinner, a gathering of global executives, investors, and creative directors. The timing overlapped with Ebru's birthday night, almost perfectly, painfully so. On paper, the dinner wasn't optional. There were commitments made weeks in advance, and the agenda included crucial last-minute adjustments to a rollout set to appear in multiple countries at once. For a career driven by momentum, showing up mattered. And yet, at the heart of the same night, there was a quietly significant ritual, celebrating Ebru's day, their private tradition that friends had come to expect and admire. This is where the line between personal and professional blurred like mist on glass. Ebru had chosen a low-key celebration, with hints of intimacy tucked into every detail, a minimalist arrangement of flowers, a playlist they both loved, and a cake that matched her current mood, refined but playful. In the videos, she looked beautiful and present, at ease among her people. Still, the question kept circling like a hawk. Where is Akın? With every upload and every angle, talking points multiplied. In a matter of hours, what could have passed as a scheduling hiccup morphed into a public test of their bond. Fans split into two camps, those who believed in them and those convinced the absence meant something was broken. Soon, gossip hubs picked up the story. Headlines sharpened. Did Akinozu skip Ebru Şahin's birthday? Photos surfaced from the brand dinner. Akın in a flawlessly tailored suit, the kind that makes a camera linger, smiling with executives, raising a glass under polished lighting. The comments sections turned relentless. Publicity or love? Did work win over the heart? Was the relationship in trouble? A single remark caught fire: can't anyone make time for their partner on a day that comes once a year? It ricocheted across platforms, gathering likes and anger in equal measure. But then, a countercurrent began. A source close to Akın whispered to the tabloids, he wanted to be there. The meeting timeline shifted at the last minute. Leaving midway wasn't possible, not with the agenda reshuffled on the spot. He still surprised her in the morning. That single claim reshaped the argument. If he greeted her early with something personal, flowers at sunrise, a handwritten note, maybe a small private breakfast, did the night matter less? Some fans said yes, context counts. Others refused to budge. The symbolism of that night mattered most, and missing it was still a fault. While the public debated, Ebru kept her silence. No posts, no explanations, no cryptic comments. She didn't tag him in any of the birthday shots her friends posted, and that generated an entirely new round of theories. People compared this year to last, where previous celebrations had jointly acknowledged both names on the cake. Now there was only hers, iced with a careful elegance. Was it a sign? Did it even mean anything? Depending on who you asked, it was either a huge red flag or an irrelevant detail stitched into a larger pattern by restless imaginations. Morning came, and with it, a new story on Ebru's page, a cup of coffee against soft light, and two simple words, "New day." That was all. Only those two words, but they sent the press into a spiral. Some said it was subtle and stinging. Others framed it as the calm poise she's known for. A woman choosing not to spill her private life into the rush of speculation, even when the world is tugging at her sleeves. The simplicity of the post, somehow, fanned both fires at once. A few days later, a curious moment emerged online. A fan asked Akın, "Where were you on her birthday?" And he replied with just two words, "At work." The brevity of it hit hard. Supporters praised the straightforwardness. Critics called it cold, even if honest, as though the sentence itself carried a weight he didn't mean to put on it. And yet, behind that short answer, there were likely hours of tension and tricky negotiations. From what insiders hinted, the dinner had been meticulously planned, then suddenly stretched by time zone calls and impromptu strategy sessions. The conclusion? The question of intent got lost in the optics of the moment. People close to the couple insisted there was no meltdown behind closed doors, just a clashing of clocks. But social media rarely lets a story die quickly. Threads expanded, conspiracy theories evolved, and every little move got interpreted as proof of something larger. When the week finally turned, cameras caught the pair together, walking side by side, fingers intertwined, without the comfortable smiles the public was used to seeing on them. The images spread fast. Some read their seriousness as lingering hurt. Others saw it as two people choosing composure over performative cheer, refusing to stage a grin to pacify strangers. The narrative mushroomed in every direction. Quiet rumors floated that Ebru, after navigating the birthday night alone, had asked for a recalibration, an honest talk about boundaries, priorities, and promises. None of it was confirmed, but the idea clung to the story because it sounded like something real people do when they're trying to make love and life work under a floodlight. Around the same time, Akın spoke at another brand event and said, "I love my job and I respect it a lot." In any other room, that would have been a standard professional line. In this context, it sounded to some like an unintended confession, a clue that career would always come first. Others reminded everyone. That wasn't a statement about love, it was a man speaking in a business setting, doing his job. In the following weeks, the tone gradually softened. A quiet trip showed up in fragments, two silhouettes at sunset, sea breeze in their hair, a shared laugh over something small, the kind of tiny moment people cherish and rarely notice unless they've missed it. The photos were not choreographed perfection, they were easy and warm. For many fans, that was the message they needed. No crisis, just a couple wrestling with time, attention, and expectation like so many do, only under the scrutiny of millions. Still, for some, one detail refused to go away, the birthday night. They held on to it the way people sometimes hold on to a single snapshot, letting it define a chapter that might not deserve such a singular verdict. They wondered, could something be quietly broken under the surface? Others pushed back, arguing that this is exactly how small things spiral in the age of constant watching, and that one missed evening shouldn't weigh more than the full story of a relationship built day by day. What makes this moment feel so sticky isn't just who they are as individuals, a leading man whose intensity has become his signature, and a leading woman whose blend of strength and grace draws people in, but how their relationship has been perceived, disciplined, private, anchored. The tension between ambition and intimacy has always been the hardest part of celebrity love stories. It's not just about showing up, but about how absence is framed and magnified by an audience that rarely sees the whole picture. If we take a step back, the through line becomes clearer. A night got crowded by obligations that were never going to be perfect, and a celebration caught the fallout. Silence, meant to preserve privacy, got misread as distance. A simple phrase, "at work," sounded like a verdict only because so many wanted a different answer. And yet, woven into all of it is something ordinary, two people figuring out how to be generous with each other when the world keeps asking for a piece of them. There's also the matter of pattern. People dug up moments from Akın's past, citing times when work had seemed to eclipse everything else. But context matters. Careers in their world are made of projects that come in waves, crashing all at once and then vanishing. The expectation to be everywhere at once is unrealistic, even if love sometimes asks for that impossibility. Ebru's calm, the way she let the story breathe without feeding it, likely spoke to an internal conversation we weren't invited to witness. There's a difference between picking a fight online and choosing to protect something fragile while it's being repaired. And what about that cake, only her name on it? For some, it became a symbol. For others, it was just frosting. Last year's joint inscription had been a playful nod to a moment they shared. This year's elegant singularity reflected a party hosted by her friends, with a design chosen for her. Both can be true. Both can fit within the same love story without contradiction. As days turned to weeks, the couple moved back into their rhythm. Not loudly, not defensively. Just a steady return to basics. Work resumed for both. Scripts were reviewed. Meetings continued. And on the quieter edges of their days, shared routines returned, early coffees, late walks, messages left at odd hours when one of them was still on set. The drama that had burst open online slowly deflated, replaced by a calmer acceptance that life is messier than the posts we double-tap. What lingers now is less scandal and more a lesson about the fragility of public narratives. A missed night became a measure for a whole relationship. A line said in a professional setting became a cipher for a private commitment. Fans were reminded that the stories we see are stitched from fragments, and that love, real love, doesn't always perform on cue. Sometimes it shows up quietly the next morning with coffee and contrition. Sometimes it asks for grace, and sometimes it fails to ask soon enough. So, was this a crisis or just unfortunate timing? The answer depends on the lens you choose. To those who believe romance is made of big gestures on big days, it stung. To those who understand the peculiar pressure cooker of fame, it was a human misstep paired with a sincere attempt to make amends. What we know is that Akın Akinozu is still moving forward with new projects, collaborations, and campaigns, while Ebru Şahin continues to thrive in her own right, her work reflecting resilience and clarity. Together, they seem to have taken the hit, talked it through, and kept walking. And yet, part of the story's magnetism is how it might echo in the future. If their bond deepens into something more permanent, this episode will return as a chapter they learned from, a moment when they reassessed priorities, renegotiated presence, and redefined what it means to show up. That's the heartbeat behind the headlines. Not scandal. Adjustment. Not collapse. Calibration. What we witnessed wasn't the end of a love story, but the edge of two worlds colliding, ambition and intimacy. While the rest of us watched and guessed. In the age of constant exposure, even a missed birthday can swell into a storm. But storms pass. And sometimes, the clearest view arrives after, when the air is washed clean and you can see what really matters. We've laid out every angle of the controversy that began when Akın Akinozu didn't stand next to Ebru Şahin on her birthday night. Was it a rupture or a scheduling trap? You decide. Share your thoughts below, and if you want more stories told with care and all the hidden threads, subscribe to Secrets Behind the Stars and turn on notifications. Until next time, take care, and remember, in love and in life, context is everything.